Hey everybody, it's Randy Wolfe. I want to welcome you to this 12-part video series where we're going to be breaking down every single thing a brand new investor would need to know when they're getting started investing in real estate. So for this very first video in this series, the big question is, how do you know whether or not you're actually ready to start investing in real estate? Most people think that they're ready to get started investing in real estate, but in this video we're going to break down how you'll know for sure, and we're going to do so that you can avoid costly mistakes. Let's dive in. So when you're thinking about investing in real estate, being ready is key. If you think about it, if you were going to go run a race, a foot race or a marathon, you wouldn't show up to the race in your pajamas with no tennis shoes, or at least I hope not. And so it's the same thing when it comes to real estate investing. You need to make sure that you are ready. Real estate isn't get rich quick, it's get rich for sure if in fact you are ready. And the journey can be a whole lot of fun too. One of the first key things is you have to have the right mindset. Now I know a lot of people, they look at this stuff and they go, this is kind of woo-woo mindset, you know, whatever. But really having the right mindset is essential. Are you someone that is an action taker, or are you someone that's an excuse maker? That's a big difference. And time again, when I look at other successful real estate investors, one of the key things that I've noticed is a lot of successful real estate investors, most in fact, are action takers. They're willing to take action, whereas a lot of the ones that aren't successful, they're timid, they kind of sit on the sidelines, they're trying to figure everything out, every little turn and every step in the process before they take action. And at the end of the day, nothing ever seems like the right time. It's either the wrong market to them, it's either they don't have enough information, etc. So you have to be in the right frame of mind, have that right mindset to where you're ready to take massive imperfect action. It also helps to have some financial stability. Now, I talk about in other videos, and I'm going to be talking about in this series, in fact, that you don't have to have money and you don't have to have credit. That's not required to invest in real estate. And there's a lot of people that are watching this video right now, and you may be one of them, who maybe you don't have a lot of money and maybe you do have some poor credit, and that's okay. I'm going to give you a lot of strategies in this video series that's going to help you even if you don't have money and you don't have good credit. But if you do have some discretionary money, it's helpful. And the reason it's helpful is because it can give you a buffer whenever you get into the investing piece of this, whether it be if you're flipping houses, it's good to have a little buffer, because sometimes, and quite often, many times things go awry, okay? It's also good to have some extra funding so that you can, or extra money so that you can invest in your business, as far as in the form of marketing to generate leads and opportunities and people to talk to. So it is something that if you have a little bit of financial dough, that is a good thing, but once again, it's not required. Another thing that you need to do to assess if you're ready or not is do a time audit. So how much time do you have? If you are working 2 jobs and you have absolutely no time at all, then it's going to be very difficult for you to become a real estate investor. I'm just going to be honest with you. But all it takes really is just a few hours a week. If you can spare a few hours a week, which most people can, maybe you have to do it in the evening, or maybe you have to get creative on how you would answer calls if you're working all the time, that sort of thing. You can invest in real estate and you can be successful. Now, the more time that you can dedicate to your real estate investing business, obviously, the quicker you're going to be able to grow and the better it's going to be for you. Think about if you're someone who is learning how to hit a baseball. The more at bats you get and the more times that you're in the batter's box, the better you're going to get overall, and the faster you're going to start to catch on to the sport. Same thing with real estate investing. You know, the more reps that you can get, the faster that you start to learn and grow. So even if you only have a few hours a week, it's not the end of the world. You can do that. It's tough, but you can do that. But you really need to look at your time and do a time audit, because also having a time audit, in the next video in this series, we're going to talk about kind of picking your lane of how you want to invest in real estate. And so understanding your amount of time is going to be helpful whenever you're trying to figure out which path you're going to take investing. The next thing is having a good support system. So it is very helpful if you do have a good support system. If you are married, it's very helpful for your spouse to be on board. I mean, my wife, whenever I started my entrepreneurial journey, she was supportive. You know, when I started an insurance agency years ago, you know, it was a scary time. She was pregnant with our first child. When I told her I was going to invest in real estate, she was supportive. So having that support is key. It's also very helpful to be able to have friends that you can bounce things off of, mentors that you can bounce things off of, being a part of a community with other real estate investors and other people who are doing this, that you can have that kind of relationship and the ability to bounce things off of them. Isolation really does lead to hesitation. If you're isolated and you're doing this on your own, it can cause you to be very hesitant to making decisions and kind of nervous about that. A community is a way that you can really accelerate your results. Speaking of community, if you are looking to elevate your game and you're looking to get mentorship and be a part of a community and have access to me to help you with your real estate investing journey in that process, be sure to check out my private online community. It's Real Estate Investors Starting Strong. I'm going to put that link in the description below. All right, so the next thing is risk tolerance. Understanding exactly what your risk tolerance is going to be very, very important to determining whether or not you're ready to invest in real estate. So a question you should ask yourself is, how do you handle uncertainty? If you are someone who does not handle uncertainty well, if you're someone who says, I've got to have every single piece of the information before I'm going to make a decision about something, then real estate investing might be a challenge for you, because oftentimes when we're investing in real estate deals, we don't have every single bit of the information. What we have to do is we have to take all of the information that we have to try to mitigate as much risk as we possibly can. So we want to be smart and intelligent and not make dumb decisions. But we want to take all of the information, assess that information, and then make a decision based on all of the data that we have. You also have to be flexible. In certain situations, you may have a flip or something going on and things go south and you have to make a quick pivot and decide to keep it as a rental or something like that. I talk on this channel about my very first deal. I was going to flip the property, ended up going way over budget, and ended up keeping that property as a rental. It worked out great. I still own that property to this day, but had I freaked out and just shut down, it could have been a disaster. So understanding your risk tolerance is very important to determine whether or not you're ready for real estate investing. Understanding what your why is. I talk about this a lot on this channel as well. What is your why? Why is it that you want to invest in real estate? I know that it's super exciting. It can be really cool. Like I'm passionate about investing in real estate. I love it. I still get excited when we get a great deal. But at the end of the day, though, you have to really assess your why, because it gets hard. And when it gets hard, that's when it starts to say, hey, why am I doing this? What am I doing this for? And so are you doing it for financial freedom? Maybe you hate your job and you want to be able to be independent and not have to work for somebody else. Maybe you're doing it for legacy. Maybe you're doing it for your family. You want to be able to travel the world with your family. Whatever your why is, you really need to assess exactly what it is, what your why is, why you want to do this, because it will definitely be helpful, and understanding that why is a part of you being ready. The next thing is you want to have a basic understanding of what real estate investing is. I'll give you a spoiler alert. As much as I love the HGTV shows, they're awesome, but it's a lot more than that. And so you need to understand the ins and outs of real estate investing. This channel is designed to help new and aspiring real estate investors. So you're in the right place. Definitely continue to get educated. Speaking of, if you're getting value so far, be sure to go ahead and smash that like button. I'm putting out content every single week, so be sure to subscribe and get notifications. That way every week when we add a new video to this series, you'll be notified. The next thing I would recommend is understanding whether or not you're able to follow a step-by-step process without overthinking it. So often, this is something that many new real estate investors struggle with, is so often they feel like they have to know everything, like every little piece of the puzzle before they can take action, and they get this paralysis by analysis phase. Execution beats perfection every single time. So you have to be confident to be able to follow a system or a process, but understand that it's not going to go as planned. It's not going to be perfect, and you have to be able to sort of adapt and overcome when problems arise, and you have to just work on your execution and getting better and better, which happens with more and more reps, by the way. So that's something that you need to understand as well. Another question to kind of ask yourself is, do you know when it's time to bring in a pro versus trying to do it yourself? So often new investors want to try to do everything themselves, and it causes them to get bogged down. So don't be that guy that tries to do it yourself to save $500 and wind up taking so much time. You do a bad job, it ends up costing you way more money, because then you have to bring somebody in behind you to do it right. Understanding that you need to focus on your highest and best use of your time. I'm guilty of this still to this day. Sometimes I find myself doing things and I have to stop still to this day and ask myself, why am I doing this? What am I doing? I need to focus on my best and highest use of my time. I'm very much a visionary person. I love educating people and helping people. So that's the best use of my time, not running to Lowe's or somewhere to pick up supplies and that sort of thing. So understanding that is definitely a big part of these questions that you need to ask yourself to determine whether you're ready or not. So with all of these questions and things in mind, where do you feel like you stand? If you check most of the boxes and answer those questions in a way that you feel good about, then let's rock and roll. You're ready to go. And in the next video part of this series, I'm going to help you determine which real estate investment strategy is going to fit the absolute best for you. So be sure not to miss it. It's going to save you years of trial and error. As always, I appreciate you being here and watching today, and I'll see you on the next video.